My name's Bill Godwin. I'm a blacksmith, pan maker, skillet maker, kitchenware maker, whatever you want to call it. It's my new career and my new avocation and vocation. And I mean, over the years, I've been sort of I've had, I don't know what you'd call it, hobby ADD. I've tried a little bit of everything from time to time, including things where you make stuff, but not blacksmithing. So I'm relatively new to this, a few years in. It's 4 or 5 years. So I've been at it just long enough to know that I don't even know what I don't know. There's a lot to learn in it. It's way more complex than you would ever imagine. It's more than just heating things up and banging on them. I don't know if it's art with a capital A. I don't know what we do with our pans that address, the human condition or anything like that. But it is art. It's something that we make that somebody takes into their house and actually then adds to it. We want them to add to it. We want them to cook on it. And we want to see the changes, and we like showing the changes in our pans that happens as you use them. So it's kind of a collaborative art with whoever buys our pans. I mean, I feel that way. I'm sure once they get it, the collaboration's over and they're cooking their stuff. But they're making their own story with, of what they're cooking for them and their family and friends. And so it's an ongoing thing, and I like that. Every part has its benefits, although I'm not a big fan of grinding. So I can tell you what part I don't like the most. That's way easier than the part I like. Grinding, I could do without that. But, you do what you do, and you take the good with the bad. So cold forging basically gives us a way to just, since we're using sheet metal, I mean, it's fairly easy to move without heating it up. The forge is designed to actually take pans and heat them up. And we've messed around with that from time to time, but boy, it causes a lot of problems too, because you get a lot of scale on the pans that then you have to work on removing, and it just makes them really tough to clean up and get nice at the back end. So it makes it a little easier to work at the front end, although I got to tell you, something this big and heated up red hot, trying to hold it and not touch it and not burn yourself on it. We say it's easier to make the metal move, but it's not as easy as you'd think it'd be, because there's a lot of moving parts and they're all freaking hot. So it's a lot better to do it cold anyways, just for control purposes. So the cold forging gets us the shape that we want, gets us the final product that we want, because we haven't had to, like I said, create all this mill scale on it and do all these things to it that were really pretty hard on it. And then hot forging, on the other hand, where we do like the handles or the smaller things like that, that's our chance to, when you really want to change the shape of something, like the fullering of the handle, we're really putting a different shape on it. We're changing its final strength because of the shape that we give it. And so the hot forging, it's more exciting, and it's more what everybody envisions when they think of a blacksmith doing. I mean, when you see us doing a pan, it's almost more like body work. It's almost automotive in the way it, we come up with these crinkles and we knock them out. So hot forging is where you kind of go like, okay, I'm a blacksmith. That's, but, and when I say that, I'm in training. I mean, let's face it, I could do this for another 10 years and I'd still be in training. It's an ongoing process. It's just like, so kind of, I'm a guy that makes pans using some blacksmith methods that I've learned along the way. I know it might kind of whiz off some real blacksmiths, a guy like me calling myself a blacksmith, but I use blacksmithing processes and I'm learning more every day. So I think that's pretty exciting. As far as I know, there's no, blacksmithing accreditation society that's gonna come spank you if you say you are. And so as soon as you've heated up some metal and banged it around and made something even marginally useful, you're a blacksmith. I mean, you're on your way. You can. And sometimes you see some specialized equipment, but you got to start somewhere, and you can start with some pretty simple things. I mean, you can start with a hot fire and a piece of metal and something to bang it on and a hammer, and away you go. Start with something small and move on from there. So yeah, it's accessible. As you move up, some of the equipment gets less accessible unless you stay serious with it and you work to acquire it, but it's out there, you can get it. Having the final product, just having it, looking at it and holding it and going like, I made this, and then the fact that we're doing this for other people too, and they get to take it, like I said, and add their changes to it. I like something that people add their own story to it. In my previous work, I mean, it was kind of about stories and helping people build a business and that sort of thing. So I like that aspect of it, that it's additive, that it's that hopefully doesn't just go somewhere and sit either, that it goes somewhere. And I'm okay. If somebody wants to buy it and hang it on the wall because it's that beautiful, cool, you know, we did something right. But we really like them to use it and do their thing with it and really build family history and stories with it. Just about every week, you got a phone in one hand and I'm trying to fry eggs one-handed in the other because I'm doing this week's video of, hey, look, eggs don't stick, that I can show people at the market. They go like, does this really work? And I break out my phone and go like, you got 1 minute? And I show them the phone and show the eggs sliding around in the pan. And so I do a lot of that cooking. And since we've been doing this, I've been busier too. So, you know, it's relatively easy to work as far as blacksmithing goes. It's something like somebody like me can learn on. It's not as technical as, say, making a knife or something like that. When we're done, the finished product, we don't have to worry about heat treatment and that sort of thing. It's done and it works and it does a great job. So it's kind of forgiving for somebody like me. So, you know, if you start on knives or something really technical or tools or something along those lines, there's a whole nother level of performance that you got to work to. So, and whole nother level of equipment that you got to have. We have ovens, we don't have heat treat ovens. So it's a great place to start. Like you asked me before, can anybody be a blacksmith? Yeah, and start with something like this. Start with something where the shape is more important than the chemistry. And it has a little more forgiving.
Hire us to tell your story. As an independent team of filmmakers, we love producing documentaries for artisans of all trades, honoring skill, passion, and determination.
The fruits of our labor literally creates happiness.
Founded in 2020, we harness our collective experience and enthusiasm for storytelling to deliver content that resonates with viewers on every level.
Think big and think outside of the box.
We avoid the constant noise of clickbait news and outrage headlines, instead crafting more intimate narratives that touch on the purpose of life itself. Stories that not only inform but also inspire. Whether it's the art of agriculture, the science of fermentation, an innovative garage startup, or the intricacies of off-grid living, we're here to explore it all and invite you to join us in the discovery.
You're just working with what you have at hand instead of having unrealistic expectations.
We know the world is brimming with hidden stories waiting to be told. These are tales of ordinary people doing extraordinary things.
The biggest thing is to realize that there's nothing that you can't do.
Embodying the American spirit that with hard work, dreams really can come true. So whether you're a garage baker, homegrown mycologist, backyard farmer, or off-grid homesteader, send us a message and share your story with the world.